What do we have here? We've got an unboxing and knife review, not by me though, but by LeftyEDC. Now, why would I put LeftyEDC's review on my channel? Well, I'm not putting the whole thing, but we're putting some parts to see what the hell's going on here, because when I listen to it, I'm like driving in the car listening, and his review didn't sound anything like the knife that I have, and I have the same Sitivien ST999. So we're going to see what the hell's going on here.
Hey guys, Kev here, and I have an unboxing to do for you.
So this unboxing was very involved, and there was a lot of things that went on, but I'm just going to kind of skip ahead, and I have, you know, his video linked in my description, so you check it out to see all the shenanigans that ensued during this unboxing. So we're just going to skip ahead to where it's already unboxed, and we're checking out the knife.
If I recommend this knife, well, either way, I'll link it down below. That'll be my Amazon link. So if you guys want to use that, it helps the channel.
So I've got the link to LeftyEDC's review of this knife down in my description, and you can go to that and then get to his link for his Amazon stuff. I couldn't copy the link for some reason, so you get the link to the video. That's the best I can do.
The transitions are not great. You can feel they're raised up along every edge.
So right away, that's a pretty big difference from my experience with mine. The transitions between the insert and the titanium are pretty smooth. There's not a lot of highs and lows. A couple places you can kind of see some slight differences, but it's pretty good though.
You have a clip, which feels pretty good. You do have this folder, which is what I'm banking on here. And then you have this front flipper that really sticks out pretty far. And let's give her a flip. Now, it is a liner lock, so I was hoping left-handed would be pretty good.
So I hear liner lock, and I kind of do a double take, and I look right down at mine and go, no, mine's not a liner lock at all. It's a frame lock. But the lock is behind that insert, so it kind of almost seems like a bolster lock or something. So I thought maybe he was just saying liner lock, but he meant, you know, that it was something and not quite the normal kind of frame lock.
It is a stupid thin lock bar, but I mean, if it works, oh, okay, the access is pretty bad.
So here we go again. I'm driving, and I know what my knife looks like, and I'm not looking down at my phone because I'm just listening to his video. But I know my lock bar isn't super thin, like crazy thin or anything. I mean, the part where you touch with the thumb is a little thin, but the lock bar itself is pretty normal, and the access to it is pretty damn generous.
Okay, drop shut. Jeez, getting in there is no fun. Flicks out pretty good. Jeez, the lock bar access is literally horrendous.
So now I'm ready to pull over and like look at my phone and try to, you know, pull up the full screen and figure out what the hell he's looking at on his knife that's so different from mine, or if he's just got a lemon, or what the hell's going on.
Ergo's pretty good, pretty good. That lock bar is stupid thin though.
So now I, after pulling safely over to the side of the road, pick up my phone and zoom in to see what's going on with his knife, and I see this. It's actually a liner lock. It's not a frame lock like mine at all. You know, when I look at mine, this is what I see. A frame lock. Way different than his. His is that little thin lock bar of a liner lock.
Holds up. I don't know what they were thinking though with the access there. Look at that. You get a chamfer over here, but like, I guess if you close your knife like this, it's not so bad. But if you do what I do, where you like to drop her, it's not really good because you don't have a spot here, right? Like, that's where I want to push, is right there. But what I have to do is kind of climb up here and do that. Yeah, that's horrible.
And now that I look at his knife, the one he has, I see how different they are. And I think that's just crazy. They're both the same models. They look the same. I mean, right here you can see those little relief cuts are different on the frame lock, but I didn't notice that at all at first. And the access is like 100 times better on mine. And you can just, you know, it's easy to unlock and drop. It's not quite as drop shutty as his, it doesn't seem like, but it's real smooth and, you know, pretty drop shutty. So after some more shenanigans, Lefty decides he wants to try to center this thing up. amongst other things. So he decides to take it apart, and that's where we'll rejoin the video.
I'm guessing I have to take the clip screw out, but I'm positive. Yep. Let's see what's under here. Clip comes off. Okay, so it's an inset liner. I mean, that's impressive, guys. For being a $150 knife on Amazon, that is impressive. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I want in a liner lock.
What is Lefty doing right here? We'll talk about that later.
And it's thick enough to scale that it just seats right in. That's crazy.
So the scale there is pretty thick, but it's already cut out to inset that liner lock piece, and it's also cut out on the other side for that carbon fiber inlay. So how thick is the piece really that those two little screws are going into that hold that lock bar on?
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So after trying one set of skiff bearings that didn't work, he's trying another right now. Lefty is putting the thing back together, and then something happens that's kind of pertinent to what happens later.
Uh-oh. Oh, there it is.
Listen as he tightens up that tail screw.
Okay. Did you guys hear that? That was a very interesting sound. What the hell that was? Holy shit, it sounded terrible. Look how thick that is. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Play. No matter what you do with this fucking knife, the action is like incredible. I mean, someone could argue that skiffs fit, but you can see how wide that area is in there. That's just not good. I mean, it's probably going to cause lockup issues or something. And I don't think I can tighten it anymore. I can go a little bit, but now I'm just getting it even closer to the side. So looks like these bearings are going to be the stock ones, are going to be the ones to go for.
So at least as far as Lefty's extensive skiff bearing collection goes, none of them fit. So the stock ones are what he's going to go for here. I've been trimming a lot out, but I thought I'd leave this super glue part in. It's pretty interesting.
Okay. See if we can get it centered before we go Loctiting stuff. I might even just super glue it. That's been my new method because it's faster, it holds, and this knife, don't care. So it's kind of weird when you get to a point where you're just acting like a $150 knife doesn't matter, but guess I'm that guy. So all right, so we're centering again. You can see the blade is way off to this side. The tip isn't so bad, but I think that's what they were thinking too. They were just looking at the, man, that action. There's no play in there either. That's bonkers. So what I need to do is get this pivot a little bit centered, which would be like right there. And I loosen it a little bit. Then we have a little bit of play. And we're still not centered. The tip is mostly centered, so I might just have to live with it. Just crank it down. It's not rubbing, at least. Right? And you get some really incredible action on this thing. Oh, the front flipper sucks because of where it's located. It's not horrible, but it's pretty bad. Man, the action's too good on this knife, honestly. Like, it's scary good on this knife. Locked up. Again, no play. Like, it's a bank vault, and it's just... I mean, I can't even get out of the way fast enough. So, let's get the super glue out. Blow some air in there. No! Eddie, no! Right. Sorry. Get our glue. Don't try this at home, kids. Honestly, it's been working really well for me. So you do what you gotta do. I do what I gotta do. So I just let a little bit seep out like that, and then I just get it on that thread. Just a tiny bit like that. That was more than I wanted, but don't care. Get it seated where you want it fast. You do not want to be no play, drop shut. You don't want to be messing around back and forth because that's already setting right now. And hopefully in about 5 minutes it'll be completely set and it'll be good to go. So ultimately I'd say it was clean. Nothing crazy about it. I mean, $150 for this thing. No pivot lash. I mean, I can move it a little bit, but that's it. Lock up. You can see there it didn't lock up. So you have to actually want it to come out, and it will lock up. You can see there. And I'm digging this knife. If it had that better lock bar access, I think I would love this knife. That's where I'm at with it. It kind of reminds me of the two knives, actually. It reminds me of the Sharp by Design Mini Tempest. And then if you mesh that with the TW Price Dawn, I think it's a good combination of knives. If you're gonna knock somebody off, these are the two to knock off. I'm just kidding. But you guys know I love me some Mini Tempest.
So Brian Nadeau is a genius. This blade on this Sitivien is sharp, and we got all that covered now.
And the action is bananas. So the only downsides to this knife currently are: 1, lock bar access is absolutely horseshit. 2, the centering. It just needs to be right there. If this knife came centered right there, I'd be pretty freaking... I'm still stoked right now.
Hopefully Lefty's even more stoked when he finds out the frame lock is way better and doesn't have any of those stupid issues.
Action is incredible. I'm getting more and more Detent Lash as I go here. It's not horrible. You can feel it a little bit when you shake, and that's when I hate it. Yeah. I don't know if it's because of the KPL I put in there. Like, did I put too much? No. I don't really see any. It's probably because of that microscopic detent ball hole. Let me try.
So he's thinking maybe there's some gunk down in the detent ball hole, which is keeping the detent ball from going into it fully, and that's causing it to have its detent lash. But I think he's also feeling the detent getting weaker. That's why that flip failed earlier when he was trying to flip it out, because the detent's getting weaker. Why would that be? Oh, and cleaning out the detent hole didn't help anything.
Yeah, it's just a little bit. It's not horrible, but I just hate when you can do this and feel a detent rocking. But hey, it's a $150 knife, so you may see another video on this, you may not. I've gone pretty far with it at this point. I think for $150, if you guys are looking for something in premium materials, like if you don't have the dollars to spend on this, I'm not going to tell you it's anywhere near this, right?
So, long story short, he starts to recommend this Sitivien, but then the more he talks about it and thinks about it and plays with it and notices this detent lash getting worse, he kind of basically talks himself out of it, and then eventually he's saying this.
But along with it comes a lot. It's just getting worse and worse. This detent lash is horrible now. I don't know if I could have done something.
I think he did do something. I think he caused this issue, but of course not on purpose, and not because he did anything wrong, actually because he was very conscientious about tightening screws that might come loose and cause an issue.
Can't remember. I don't feel like it was there when I first opened it. I mean, that action has just gotten crazier and crazier. It might be related, right?
There is another lockup failure. So we're seeing these issues get worse and worse. At the same time, we're seeing it getting more and more drop shutty.
Yeah, it's horrible now. Anyway, that's the ST999 from Sitivien. You can get it on Amazon, link down below. Do I recommend it? I don't know. I mean, I think for 150 bucks, now that I've done everything I've done with this knife, I think I'd rather, you know, spend 200 on something else. You know, you could probably get a Kunwu knife in that price range. You can get Asher knives in that price range in titanium and S35. So no longer is 150 for S35EN and titanium like this amazing thing, you know. You can get tons of knives in that price category.
I don't think I agree with that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's way more really well-made knives out there for 150 with M390 and titanium and carbon fiber inlay. Now, but to be fair, he's talking about his version, that liner lock one. This one, this frame lock version, I think is well worth 150. Now you get much over that, and then maybe there are some ones, you know, that you should look at instead. But this one is pretty nice at 150. I got it for 109 while it was on sale, so I'm pretty damn happy with it.
It just seems like a good deal, but ultimately, if the knife isn't put together well, and we've heard other people have issues, like, you know. But hey, this could have been me, the Detent Lash. When it got on my table, it was off center, and it had the terrible lock bar access, so I can at least blame that on them. The Detent Lash, if you guys, you know, if you want to say I maybe caused that, sure. Swapping the bearings or something, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is the stop pin isn't seated right, but it looks pretty placed in there. I don't know what you could really do different, but yeah. So anyway, there she is. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you to Lewis, Addicted to Knives, for pointing this knife out. Always love checking out new stuff, and I think it was definitely worthy of checking out. Man, the ergos, dude. The ergos on this are insane. Love it. So, yeah, go check out Lewis's channel, Addicted to Knives. He may have a video on this knife up, so please go check that out if you're interested. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you later.
So, I got two conclusions here. One conclusion is, well, maybe three conclusions. One conclusion is, I kind of like this LeftyEDC guy. He's kind of cool. He sounds, you know, slightly drunk while he's delivering, and I like that. And I like his little asides and his little tangents that he goes on, and I'll be subscribing and checking out his channel in the future. All right, the second conclusion is, there's two freaking versions of this exact same knife. One of them is the frame lock like this one, and it seems to have a little better inlay, like fit and finish, and it is just much better access to the lock bar, and it's really well made, and it's good in all the ways that his is, but better in that it's not this crappy liner lock that's hard to reach and hard to unlock, and it's just better. So that's a good thing, and I'm hoping that this one that I have is the newest version, so if you bought it today from Amazon, that's what you would get. I'm hoping. Now the picture on Amazon, though, looks like this. And this is obviously the liner lock version, at least in the picture. Right here, if it was the frame lock, it would have those three little cutaway relief cuts, but it doesn't. You'd also be able to see the little relief cuts to reach the lock bar like mine has, and that one doesn't have that either. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's that you would get the liner lock version if you bought it, because I'm pretty sure I bought mine from the same ad, or the picture in the ad was the same. So you might get the newer version, which I guess is the newer version. So anyway, that's item 2, that there's 2 different versions, and you might get the new one if you buy it from Amazon. But I can't guarantee that because I'm not the one in China shipping it to you, so I don't know. Item 3 is the mystery of the steadily increasing detent lash.
Yeah, it's horrible now.
The first clue, a knife reviewer with an obsessive insistence on tightening screws that were already tight. Second clue, the aforementioned steadily increasing detent lash.
Yeah, it's horrible now.
The third clue is the ominous and unexplained sound that happened when he was reassembling the knife. Clue number 4, the knife began to not lock up properly when closed slowly. Clue number 5, the steadily increasing drop-shuttiness of the knife and weakening detent. But what does it all mean? It is very simple if you think about it. Mr. EDC tightened those 2 screws holding the liner lock insert into the handle. The 2 screws are threaded into a thin piece of titanium between the outside carbon fiber insert and the inside cutaway for the lock bar. This thin titanium substrate gave way under the stress of the over-tightened screws, leaving the lock bar loose to move back and forth, creating the detent lash and the lowering pressure on the blade, allowing it to fall more freely. And it caused the lock issue where it failed to lock when slowly closed. Opened. Whatever. So that's my supposition. I think when he gave those 2 screws a little oomph just to make sure they were tight, he didn't think about how thin that titanium was that they were screwed into. He actually said these are thick pieces, but between the cutouts on each side there isn't much titanium there. And then when he screwed the knife back together and we heard that pop, I think it was the back screw of that lock bar stripping out from the threads it was in and coming loose. And then from there, the lock bar was able to move back and forth and cause all these problems. Luckily, mine doesn't have any kind of screws holding the lock bar on. So if you get this one, you'll be good. All right, so I'll do my full review of this knife on the next part. And it won't be super long because LeftyEDC did a great job already. I think it's a pretty good knife. Mine is, anyway. I don't think I want his version that's hard to reach the lock bar and has all these other issues, including a thin piece of titanium that you have the lock bar screwed into. So, look out for number 2 coming soon, or the second part coming soon, and have a nice day.